Hey,
Hoo-dee-hoo!
hey.
Hoo-dee-hoo! Welcome in. Welcome in.
Oh,
It's
sure.
Friday. Hope you
That's
guys had
great.
a great week and an even better weekend coming up. Thank you for joining us. Hit us in the comments. Of course, hit us at the link, which I guess I probably should put on the screen. That usually works better when we do it like
Eh,
that. But
eh.
thank you for joining us on this Friday. Tyler, how was the end of your week, and how you doing this evening? Now that we're freaking weekend.
Not doing too bad, man. It's been, just kind of been another week. Definitely still kind of missing the Olympics. Thankfully we got the Premier League starting up. Pretty much all of European soccer starting up.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to see other countries try to learn the sport that the U.S. has just been so dominant at. Um,
Up to 10.
it's really kind of like watching development leagues is really what this is, but still, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
these are like farm, foster leagues to where some of these guys at some point maybe they can hack it in MLS. Then
Maybe.
maybe we consider it.
It's a pretty hard maybe, but yeah, all in all, man, not too bad. Looking forward to the weekend one. How you doing?
Doing great. Um, very very happy that the Premier League is back. Of course, we have a lot to talk about there. Um First game
Oh
was
boy.
today, the only game, and then we go pretty much wall to wall tomorrow in the morning. It is still 9 hours ahead of us, so. And then Sunday we have two games, including our beloved West Ham. But yes, across Europe, I know Bayern played today.
Yeah, them
La
and
Liga's
Mönchengladbach played. Yeah.
getting back rolling, and then of course we will. CEO Nick and myself will be at the Loyal game tomorrow night. So when the stakes are really high, like I said, being the 10th best soccer country in the world, even these minor league teams, better than there's a certain Premier League
I'll
team
just say
that.
just say this: Arsenal probably couldn't hack it.
Yeah, so I don't, at this point, I don't know. I don't know, but we will get into all of that, all of that. Um, but not a whole ton going on. Yes, there is, or I guess was, but there still is Pacquiao fight this weekend. But it's not going to be the fight that everyone thought it was, including me,
Not
who
real
works
spin.
for the company that was trying to make the ads for it, and that was a big setback for all of us. But it's still going to be going on. It's still technically a title fight. So I give
Hmm,
a shout out to producer Tanaya walking by in the background,
there we go.
strutting her stuff, walking in through the back door. Slam and slam.
Yeah, yeah. Boxing again. I think we talked about it the other night. Boxing can't ever have nice things, but
I don't know
yeah,
about
at
boxing.
least Pacquiao. Like, I'll give them this much. At least they like. At least now they like have a back. Like boxing is so like weird and screwed up. They know now, like, all right, like we gotta have this guy like signed as a backup just in case something happens a week before the fight.
Yeah, I mean that is better than certainly what a lot of them have done in the past, and will continue to do. Don't get me wrong,
Mm.
but you gotta assume that's a big punch in the balls for the pay-per-view buys. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And again, as we will always remind you on this program, there are ways that you can not pay to view. So
Mm-hmm.
keep that in mind. Of course, as always, entertainment purposes only. But there it is. But before we get into soccer, just because again, I'm super happy that Premier League is back. It's still kind of unfathomable to me, like the schedule these guys operate on, especially with the summer tournaments when there is
Mm-hmm.
international tournaments, Euros, Gold Cup, of course, Nations League. Which
Nations League. Yeah.
I mean, when you start kicking a ball in AYSO, you're just dreaming of getting to that Nations League one day.
Why even have that tournament? I mean, nobody's gonna take that from the US. Nobody's ever taken it from the
I mean, no one
US.
has that until proven otherwise. So, and the funny thing too is the FIFA rankings are already really, really dumb. But for a wide variety of reasons. But
Yes.
not least of all, in fact, most of all, being that they only put it out like every 4 months. Like,
like 3 times a year.
okay. But USA up to 10. Mexico somehow in 9th, even though we took 2 trophies off those fools this summer. But again,
it's all
metrics,
politics. It's
it's a politics. Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But we're coming for that ass, rest of the world. So you look,
right.
you look.
You remember, like, was that like 12 years ago when the U.S. got up to number 4?
Yeah, that was, even at that time, I was like, this is dumb. Like, wow, this is wildly out of control. But we're up to 10, so I mean, without saying it, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Definitely winning the next World Cup. There it is.
Well,
there
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, clear.
It's out there. I'm just gonna own it right now. But
Entertainment purposes only, of course. Please believe that.
Yes, I don't know what the futures line looks like on that, and I don't want to be sued. So of course,
we could actually probably find that out pretty quickly.
I got a teaser with Arkansas Slim.
There we go.
I had to put up $1,300 to buy it down to 8,000 to 1 that USA would win the World Cup. But he's the kind of guy that will hook that up. So
he'll take that bet every time.
He'll make something happen. Like you work something out man to man with him. That's what I like about Arkansas Slim. That's why he is the official sportsbook of the program.
A lot of gentleman steals going on.
Backdoor handshake kind of things. Yeah, you don't want to know.
Absolutely.
But if you do want to know, I mean, we got a guy. I'm just saying. But before we get into the soccer world, last night we did have, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. The Field of Dreams game, and actually constructed right adjacent to the Field of Dreams from the movie, which is like a museum tourist destination now.
Correct.
And they put a little MLB corn maze in the middle. But pretty cool setup. I thought it was funny that they put all the Fox guys in like old timey clothes, and then Ken Rosenthal's just like, I'm just gonna wear my regular shit. Like, oh, okay.
They were like, "Can we actually need you to update your gear?"
Yeah, it's a little too old timey. Like, we're talking about like the era that the movie was in. So you're, try to get on the same page with us here. But no, it was a cool setup, and I thought it was weird. The Kevin Costner thing at the beginning was weird, but it's all in tribute to the movie. And I just thought it went on a little too long. Like him,
I would agree with that.
He straight faced it. He did it just like the movie. He kind of wanders around aimlessly. They're playing the music, and I was like, at some point, is he just gonna like walk into like the mound and say something, or is he just gonna like drift around sideways? I don't know if he was like allowing more time, but the players came out of the cornfield. That was cool too.
I was waiting for, in the middle of the game, Timothy Busfield to show up and say, "You need to sell the farm.
You gotta sell the farm, Ray." Or just throw a small child off the bleachers at some point, because that would have really like locked it in. I mean, if they were going
movie experience,
trying to keep it sim, they probably should have went for that. But it was a cool event, and I mean, this is just an unrelated side note, but we are degenerates on this program. It was the first leg. A friend of the program, Will, shout out Monday, his first day producing the morning show out there in Phoenix, but. First leg of his parlay, and the White Sox end up winning with a walk-off home run. He had all money line: White Sox, Angels, Giants, and Padres. So the bitter irony of all of that is that the Padres are his team, and they were the only one that did not come through.
Look, I think it's just I've been burned by my team so many times. That's become a rule of mine: is don't bet on your team.
Absolutely not.
Never do it. Never do it.
And even like, look, my degeneracy, it knows no bounds. But I will be the first to, in fact, my first bet that I feel like really got the momentum rolling for the great San Diego Loyal was me betting against them at a game I was attending. And it seemed like that kind of righted the ship a little bit. So, betting, it's not just about the money. It's about influencing what you can. with your terrible luck, which I usually have. So I was doing all I could to get those boys that win, and you're welcome, San Diego.
There you go. But yeah, it was a really cool game. It was a fun game. Like I'm glad it turned out to be as fun as exciting as it did. Because like I think what Chicago went up like 5-0 pretty early on, so it's kind of like, oh, all right, we're getting one of these games, whatever. And then Yankees made the comeback. I think I saw this is the first time they've lost a game where Judge and Stanton both homered in.
Mm.
Tim Anderson, of course, with that just great 2-run walk-off home run. It was really cool. I definitely – this is something they're going to do again. Like, I think everybody knows this.
Yes.
It brought in, like, I don't know, lots of millions. Like, this is one of their highest-rated regular season games in a long time. I think you have the same concern. I think I saw you express it, or maybe through text, or heard something else. But I'm definitely worried that this is going to go the Gary Bettman route, where they do this multiple times a year. Like, doing it once a year, cool, great, like, awesome. That helps keep some of the mystique on it. I'm worried it's going to be like, all right, well, now it's the May Field of Dreams series, and now it's the June Field of Dreams series.
In fact, we're going to have one spring training game in Iowa. Like, why not? And it's a snowstorm. But
actually, Seattle, we're just going to move you there. That's sorry.
No, I mean,
the thing with Los Angeles didn't work out. We got to move you there.
That is certainly going to happen. Like, we just have to accept it. And if there's any other league that is as desperate for TV attention than the NHL, it is certainly Major League Baseball. But again, both are just sports that they're not really hurting for attendance. They've never really been hurting for attendance, although they do have an odd fascination with lockouts and labor strife, which is unfortunate when you're sort of on the margin already as a non-TV sport. But they usually draw pretty well in person, and they're much better to go to in person than watch on TV. Agreed. But yeah, they're going to beat this to death. I think we're going to get to a point where there's 4 or 5 of these a year. I did like, and even though this is a shot, which I will reference again with my own T-shirt, which I'm very proud to have. But yes, so are they going to do like the backyard baseball stadium? Will they do the Sandlot? There's a lot of
League
places.
Of their own.
League of their own
in the bottom left, yeah.
And then of course the
Oakland A's proposed stadium,
which yes, it's 40 years of artist rendering for the A's proposed stadium. But yeah, man, look at those cranes in the background. It'd be sick right there on the water. Oh. But I could see a Sandlot one. I think that has to happen at some point. Obviously, it's not going to be played on. The dimensions will be different, obviously, but still, it will be the same kind of sentimental value, for fans of baseball and baseball movies and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it was very entertaining, and I would like to see more of them. But there is going to be a cutoff when I'm just like, all right, this is too much. This is way too much.
Yeah, when they start playing on the Blurns ball field from Futurama, then we're like, all right, maybe we've kind of jumped the shark with this.
Just a little. Just a little. Baseball on the Hood, hosted by the Lots.
Yeah, there we go. We can go for that. I'd watch that.
D-Block.
Yeah. Like I think the Sandlot is a good idea in general, but MLB is also like, no, we got to bring in like 8,000 people, so we can't really do that. Maybe they'll have them go play at the junior high that they played the other kids at in the Sandlot movie.
Well,
we play at a real time in Porter.
The one upside to this is, as we were just talking about, something like the novelty of this really is just getting good TV ratings, which baseball always has a hard time doing, even when we're talking like playoffs and World Series even. So 8,000 people there. Yeah, they were definitely losing money at the gate, but it's just more of like the profile, like getting people to watch this that wouldn't normally just watch a Thursday game between the White Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is definitely all about the ratings, and I think that is why they need to not do it 4 times a year. Like, just do it. just do it the once a year. Like I even like the fact that it's not even a full series there. It's just one game. Like
One
that's
game.
it.
Yeah. You
Like
can do
that's
all the
perfect.
pre-show. You can do all, Joe
Well,
Buck and John Smoltz and their vests and weird hats and stuff.
maybe don't do the same pre-show routine every time. I don't know if Kevin Costner is down to do a weird 5 minute kind of blurry-eyed, confused, stumbling around.
That was a
Look, he's a
lot.
fantastic actor. Don't get me wrong. Love Kevin Costner movies, but I was like a little bit too much here.
Well, I respected that he really went, I guess method or like this is a role for him. Like he's just leaning into this. He's doing it exactly like the movie. But when
Yeah.
you're tuning in to kind of see like, oh, this will be a cool idea, but they are going to play a game at some point, right? Like a real major league game is going to happen, and he's just kind of wandering around in the outfield aimlessly. Like, okay, we get it. Like, how? All right, this has been going on for 18 minutes. I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't know what this is. I get it, kind of, but really, this is way too much.
Why are they recreating the scene where they're at the PTA meeting trying to not get books banned? Why are they doing this?
Well,
No,
as it goes on, they're just going to add more wrinkles.
yeah, I kind of had a thought in my head of like, it would actually be fun if they did like like an old timers game at this field. But then I also thought it would be weird if like they exited through the corn like the ghosts in the movies. Like, yeah, that might be a little weird, a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's a little morbid, kind of, because you may never see that fool come back out of that corn. But walking through the corn, I thought was a nice touch. I
Yeah.
did see like a day or two before that they were planning on doing that. Obviously, they had to have a fence and boundaries because it was a major league game, but they had a section of the fence that was able to be removed for that
Mm-hmm.
part. And also, I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, like, I don't know, what if all these guys get like a bunch of weird like tick bites or something, or get lost in the corn? Maybe just follow Aaron Judge's head. He's probably the only person tall.
We haven't seen Liam Hendricks for 4 days. What happened?
He's just roaming around out there somewhere. He's lost in Iowa.
Can we get a drone overhead to find him? Come on.
Even the drone can't find. I mean, we gotta get like infrared or something to see him down there. He belongs to the corn now.
Yeah, he's gonna come out like Moonlight Graham when he steps past the past the dirt and turns into the old doctor again.
Just exactly. Ages immediately. Well, like I said, I fully expect them to beat this into the ground, but it was cool, and I appreciated it at the time. So just enjoy it. A lot of the, especially this picture here, is a good illustration. I know FS1 has been playing sort of a documentary just about the movie before this game and some of the weird stuff they were doing to shoot it, being so remote and everything. But a lot of that also had to do with the how crazy, like the sun going down there and what it does to the sky is. So they had to rearrange a lot of the shooting schedule. And you could see, I mean, it's a very cool, like, backdrop for, I mean, besides the corn and, all the movie stuff, it does look just gorgeous on TV. So, Fox, 4K, come on, step it up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick, curious, because I've kind of noticed there seems to have been like a trend in like a more recent generation about the movie. What are your thoughts on the Field of Dreams movie? Like, do you like it? Are you a fan? Do you think?
I do like it. I'm not as hardcore about it as some people are. I mean,
Sure.
you got to put it, it's definitely like very conservatively top 10, easily. Baseball movie, just as far as the profile of it, whatever. But
Sure.
I'm not as super stuck on it as some people are, but it's a good movie. With James Earl Jones. How can you go wrong?
Right. Yeah, just curious because like I've kind of noticed there seems to be like a modern trend of the generation like kind of after us, or maybe like after them is like, yeah, this movie's like actually not that good. It's pretty overrated. I don't know.
I think
Just
it
curious.
definitely can fall into overrated in
could,
some ways
sure.
because of it's there's like a sentimental quality to it as well. So it's kind of like whatever that movie means to you, as opposed to just like if you're just watching this movie as a straight movie, like say it was up for coming out this year, like you're probably not going to pick it for an Oscar or something, you know what I mean? But
right.
It's a good movie and it's a great baseball movie, so I have no problem with it.
Yeah, just curious.
But also next year, can we get like a John Deere like a little mini John Deere to bring the ball out, because that would be cool.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Oh, that would be so good.
Hologram Burt Lancaster.
Hey,
Hey,
know something? Thank you.
technology's crazy this day. Yeah, right. They could probably hook that up.
They could do it. They could totally do it.
And as I said, the amount that MLB is going to lean into this until it becomes like super tired and trying to have them force it down your throat, they probably will try that at some point.
Well, I think I read or heard on the radio that like that. I guess that cost MLB $5 million to make that. Which I'm like, really, $5 million to MLB is like nothing.
That's literally trivial amount of money for them. So we'll see what happens with that going forward, but do expect to see more. And I was kind of thinking too. Well, they already have the one field from the movie. They have the museum there with the house and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They might as well just leave the stadium up, like save some on the overhead of building it again. We know they're going to go back there at some point. Just leave it there, kind of maintain it.
And you could have like high school or college tournaments there. Like that city will put use to it, I'm sure, as long as it's there.
Well, honestly, after that game, it becomes part of the museum, right? Like we had an MLB game here, like the other field. So you can kind of leave the whole setup there. But we'll see what happens. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. It just took a little bit of a bitter tinge because Will lost his parlay. And that was the first leg. And they came back miraculously. But and then also sitting there watching it like, man, I just know it's going to be White Sox, Astros, ALCS. Like it's both of these teams are probably
pretty much where it's heading.
But see what happens with that. Before we get into the soccer, which, yes, it is called soccer now. Please believe that. I must insist.
It has come home.
It's already home. As far as I know, it's already home. But particularly North America, Mexico, do better, but you're close. You're on the doorstep.
You're right there. Except for the Nations League. You're not there.
Yeah, well, I mean, someday. But on the American football side, actually, we'll just call this football because it's football. Tyler brought this up to me. In the wake of this Oklahoma-Texas defection to the SEC, now we are looking at more, potentially, I don't know, like one insane super mega conference to combat the SEC. I guess. What, two of these have deals with ESPN? All three of them do at some level. So
so I did read Max Olson's article here kind of before we jumped on, and there weren't too many details in it as of yet. This is just kind of like a break that's gotten out, but basically what this is the other three conferences realized, like, with Texas and Oklahoma now, SEC can like pretty much outvote everybody to what benefits them in any sort of decisions for basketball, football, whatever. So these other three are like, well, what if we just like all stick together? We can schedule against each other. We can outvote the SEC. Like no matter kind of whatever they want to do, we will, vote the other. This basically is like NCAA Survivor is what this is. And I'm just like, okay, which one of these three is going to be the first one to turn on the other two when the SEC comes at them with an offer? Because these three conferences will eat each other alive if the SEC is like, hey, you join up with us. Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, just the whole, even starting back in the BCS days, and then you go to the playoff, football has already sort of separated itself essentially from the NCAA as far as they make all the rules about what goes on TV, the big schools getting this money and all this sort of thing. So not to say I expected this exact move, but I'm not at all surprised by it because like once one domino starts to fall and they start lining up, like sort of, okay, well, we're going to have this mega power conference. We're going to take the two best teams out of this other one, or as far as revenue goes anyway. You're going to see like a lot of chips falling, like people aligning with different things, where football, like I said, just kind of operates on its own plane of existence outside of the NCAA at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. And meanwhile, the big eight, big eight, like
Lil Lil 8.
like yes, little eight. Look for their album coming out this summer. Little
It's
eight.
dropping. Well, they
Uh,
start with the mixtape, a couple mixtapes to heat the
that's true.
streets
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
and then
that's true.
the album.
Yeah, there's kind of like what they're doing is kind of still just up in the air. Like from Max Olson's article here, it seemed like the other three conferences were like, at this time, we don't really have any interest in any of those teams. So who knows? Maybe the Lil Eight will join up with the other six smaller football conferences, and I don't know, all try and go up against the big guy and get plowed over. I don't know. No idea what's going on with him. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Braden would have a little more insight in that into us since he is a Little Eight correspondent for our show here.
Our Lil 8 insider.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like you said, it's not surprising this is happening. Yes, there we go. They kind of are. Eric Bischoff, the new commissioner for the SEC. Yeah, I don't know. It'll just be interesting to see what happens. Ultimately, I don't know if this will be good, but it's kind of one of those things that's like this was always bound to happen.
Yeah, and I like just this article here. Very, everything's pretty preliminary right now, but it just indicates to anyone that's sort of been following this for the last, I don't know, almost 2 decades, like the way it's been going. Like football makes all or most of the money for a lot of these schools, and
Mm-hmm.
now that they got the TV thing, which is kind of their own thing, there's going to be a lot of reshuffling going on. Like, I mean, the Texas-Oklahoma thing, yeah, I know they kept it under wraps because they didn't want local and state governments and things to like intervene before it was like already close to being done.
And they didn't want to pick. They didn't want to get Texas A&M mad, so they kept it under wraps.
Yes, exactly. But like I said, that was the first, and you can't even really say unexpected. Like the way that happened, yes, all right. Nobody really knew about that except for the parties involved. But you had to know something like that was going to happen at some point, and that would like start the avalanche. And that's what probably we're going to see for the next 5 to 10 years as this sort of like shuffles it all out.
Yeah, all I can hope is that the future EA Sports football game allows just 4 super conferences, and that's it. I think that's kind of what they're adjusting towards.
I mean, now that the super conferences and how many more that will there end up being, and the super teams within those conferences, it's almost like they already can just control their own rights anyway. So we might get a fully licensed, at least for like the best, 40 teams in the nation, game back again. So that could be the silver lining to this. You'll have full rosters.
Although I guess there's the question now that NIL is a thing. How much is that game going to cost?
That could be pricey.
We have to sell it $280 a game.
Well, if you want the download version, it's only $260. But if you want
That's
the
true.
disc,
Yes. Yeah.
at least $280. And then if you want, like the elite version, where you can get like Desmond Howard, Herschel Walker, some of the that's going to probably run you like $400.
True.
But we will see what happens with that. It's going to get weirder and weirder and way weirder before it becomes any more clear what's actually going to happen there. So Now, with that, on to the soccer. We already talked about it on a Wednesday. Premier League started back up today in spectacular fashion. Brentford up the bees. First game back in the top flight, I believe, in 74 years. Just absolutely Brentford killing bees on the swarm. Just really, just going to be honest, even as an Arsenal hater, beat the crap out of them. Like, Arsenal really just looked like they did not want to be there. Like, as much as it pains me, as you know, the ultimate Derek Lewis fan, it had that same feel of just like, they just not into it. Like they're just getting run over right now. They have no idea what they're trying to do, and we all see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, if you would have showed this game to somebody that doesn't really know, anything about soccer and said, one of these teams has been in the Premier League from the beginning, has won 14 FA Cups, has been a traditional powerhouse, and the other one just got to the Premier League for the first time, you would absolutely guess Arsenal was one that just got there for the first time. They just looked awful. Like there was, I was telling Ronnie before the show, I was texting with a buddy of mine that's an Arsenal fan, and he was working during the game, and I just told him, like, dude, don't even bother. Like, seriously, don't even look anything about this game. Like, it's just there's nothing good.
This is just a text to tell you to turn off your phone.
Like
after this, if you don't respond, it's fine. Let's make sure you turn your phone off.
The best thing I can tell you is, like, there was like 3 moments where Pepe looked okay. Saka didn't look terrible. He was just invisible. That's as good as I can tell you. That's it. It was amazing how terrible Arsenal looked.
And I will say this, look, I mean, if they play again, they will play again at some point.
They will play again.
But most likely, I'm sure Arsenal will be heavy favorite. Like, it's not going to stay this way forever. But it was cool to see the fans back in there. A team that just got promoted, and
they were great.
They were all about it, and Arsenal just looked like they did not know what all was going to be going on. Like, they were just like, oh, like, this is way more serious than we thought. And Brentford was just up for that, like, down for that action, like, taking it to them whenever they possibly could. They looked like the more dangerous team, even though they had maybe like 40% of the ball compared to 60 for Arsenal. But they just had an idea of, like, this is what we're going to do to try to win this game. And Arsenal's idea seemed like we're just going to show up and beat Arsenal and eventually win.
Well, the problem with being Arsenal is that's in the last decade, that's changed from what it once was. Like, they did show up to be Arsenal today, but it's not the Arsenal.
They definitely were Arsenal.
Yeah, this isn't the Arsenal that, like, American fans were first introduced to 10, 20 years ago. This is a completely different team. But, I was really impressed. Ivan Toney, the striker for Brentford, was just a terror for that back line for Arsenal. The goalie, Raya, made some really good saves. The few times Arsenal did get a good shot off, he was just absolutely there to shut it down. It's, Arsenal's going to have a lot of questions, obviously. I mean, they already had questions, and, you can say, they didn't have Aubameyang, they didn't have Lacazette, who are, probably their 2 best goal scorers. But even then, man, the rest of this lineup should beat Brentford. Like, if you just look at it man for man on paper, I mean, Arsenal should still win this.
The reserves should beat Brentford. Like, let's just call it what it is. I love piling on Arsenal, which I will never not love. Of course.
True.
Oh, mate.
Absolutely will never get tired of that. But still.
Love you, Raj.
That is a tough way to start. I know Arteta just basically did like a public apology to, like, the Arsenal fans, like, in a statement, like, this is way not good enough. Like, I don't know. I mean, he knows more about what happened than either of us do, but still, like, you come out like that when you're already, after last year, people are picking you. Well, actually, let's just look at that real quick. I don't have mine here, but I think I had him like 10th, and the Baron came through hot.
I had him higher. I had him 5th or 6th.
The Baron had him 12th, and
Baron looking good with that pick there.
A stone cold lock. But Brentford 19th, though. That's in danger now. So watch out.
I had them not being I'm the one of the 3 of us that had them not relegated.
Respect. But the as far as just the overall scenes, I mean, just seeing fans back at any Premier League game was great. But the Brentford fans were great, like wall to wall, and then just really started having a great night. We're just too good for you. You're going down, like, the songs coming out.
You're just a shit. Tottenham was another one they were being chanted with.
Wow,
that's cutting.
Savage.
That's cutting right there.
That is very cutting. I mean, that is like a personal attack on many levels. But the great thing about this also being the only game of the day and the only game so far in the league is that, yes, Brentford currently sits first with 3 points, and Arsenal oh man, I hope they can right the ship because they are currently in dead last in the league.
That point differential is going to kill him in the end.
That is going to hurt. That is a tough hole to dig out of. So, man, we will see. But Brentford, on the day, certainly was too good. And just from a mentality standpoint, I don't know. We'll see what happens to Arsenal from here. But Brentford just certainly seemed like the team that was way more up for it.
It's funny. I was telling you earlier a little bit. When I looked at the lines for this, I was kind of like, all right, I know Arsenal's
Great
the
point
favorite.
also, Perrin, with a game in hand.
Yes, game in hand. Yes, that's true. I was kind of looking at the lines of this one. I was like, oh man, Arsenal should win this. And I remembered it's Arsenal, so I'm like, they might draw. I think they might do the typical game they have against West Ham, where they just get outplayed most of it, but then sneak in a goal to get the draw. And then I realized, man, it's Arsenal. I don't really want to touch this. I don't. I kind of want to stay away from this one. And should have gone Brentford, man. Should have gone Brentford.
Always stay away from Arsenal betting, for or against. It's just too much of a crapshoot. But and Arsenal did. It seemed like in the second half they probably got a little bit dogged out in the locker room, whatever. Got their heads screwed on a little bit better for 20 minutes or so. But Brentford got that second goal, and that was just a perfect testament to exactly how this game played out. Easy, a lazy cross into the box. I know Arsenal fans were complaining Leno was being held, but my feelings on that, which I told Tyler before the show, when you're the goalie in that situation, you can pretty much kill a guy, and they will call the foul on the other person. The goalie, It's like the goalie in hockey. You always get the benefit of the doubt because you're on an island and you're vulnerable because you just have to literally put your body on the line to try to keep the ball out. So complaining about being held, it's well, do something then. Don't get held. Tackle that guy, throw him down. Whatever. Push him into someone else, into your own teammate. You can't just sit back there and just allow that to happen. And
no, you're right. For soccer and hockey, the goalies, when they're in either the box or the crease, it's like being on a foreign embassy. You're immune, dude. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you.
99% of the time, you will get the call. There is you have nothing to worry about. And that ball just kind of lazily hops through there. No one's really interested in Arsenal at going after it. Norgard just comes flying in I'll take it, and just dunks on the whole. Anyone that was ever a fan of Arsenal, ever associated with the team,
as an organization, just dunked on them all.
As a staff, record label, as a crew, I mean, just came busting in there I'll take it, I want it, and no one else wanted it like that. So that just kind of really summed it up. I mean, yes, the second goal is when okay, this has been put to bed, but the way that it was scored was just very illustrative of the way Arsenal came out in this game. Just kind of a bunch of rich guys sort of going through the motions. I mean, at some point we'll get the goal. Maybe it would suck to have a tie here, but we'll probably get a point out of this. And just everyone just standing around waiting for something to happen. And Brentford was like, "No, dude, we'll punch you right in the face. We got nothing to lose here."
Yeah, Ben White got paid nicely to go to Arsenal, and I believe the stat I saw was he won 46% of his aerial challenges and 50% of his ground challenges, which for those of you not inclined in soccer, that is not good. That's not good stats for anybody, let alone a guy that just got paid a lot to come to a Super League team.
Again, founding Super League team, but
yes.
Especially on the second goal. I mean, he was just at sea. I was like, I don't even know. What are you doing? There's no reason to do any of what you just did. The guy he was marking, in finger quotes, marking, did not score, didn't even get a touch to the ball. So he just kind of had a soft I'm just keeping contact with this guy. Just watches the ball bounce in front of him, and then of course Norgard just comes flying in. Like I said, dunks on everyone. Up the bees. Come on.
Damn right. But yeah, so we do have, like we said, we'll just briefly go over kind of everything here. We do have a full schedule again starting tomorrow there with the 4:30 game, which I'm sure neither of us will be up for. Uh, could be an exciting game though. I mean, look, it's Leeds, man.
There is going to be action. I promise there's action,
Yeah,
and this is a actual rivalry game, believe it or not.
this is true.
Uh,
Yes, it is.
if you did this in like 1992, this game would be the hype game of the entire slate right here. But then, at that point, kind of took different paths. With Manchester United becoming one of the most valuable sports teams in the world, Leeds having some, let's just say, complications with the rules and things like that. But they are back in the Premier League, and they only know one way. I mean, we've talked about it so many times, and that way is just trying to score at all times. Even if we get scored on, we are going to die. We're going to go down the ship on fire trying to score every single second of this game.
Look, it makes for a fun game to watch. That's for sure. And Man U, they're like a weird team. Like you look at the roster, you're like, in theory, like they should be scoring like 5 goals a game. And a lot of times you'll see them win like 1-0, 2-0 maybe. So like they have the firepower to keep up with Leeds. That's not a question. But yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Man United, it just seems like I would certainly not put them in the Arsenal category because, for one, they have more money, they have better players. But it seems more of like a cultural, like an internal problem. Like it just never really. It's always like, oh, Man United making a late season charge, like, and they got up to like 5th place. Like, really shouldn't be that way. They should probably be in contention for the title like the entire year. But they just hit like a weird spell, and probably a lot of that is like coming out of the shadow of Sir Alex and whatever. But still, it seems like another team that has not quite as hard times, but sort of fallen on hard times of the elite.
Yeah, and I'll be curious to see. I think all week I kind of read like Sancho's not going to play for tomorrow, but then I saw something today like, oh, Sancho actually might be in the starting lineup. So I'm curious to see how he'll fit in there. I don't think he played any of the preseason, so that's kind of would be a little bit concerning. But yeah, we'll see how they go. Just kind of looking down the list as well. Burnley, Brighton, not.
That's an early 6-pointer. That's an early 6-pointer.
Right.
This could make a huge impact at the end of the year.
Chelsea Palace, gotta imagine Chelsea's probably going to win that one. Well, I mean, Lukaku's not going to play, so they'll probably win it 1-0. I think they're going to kind of keep their typical defensive style until Lukaku gets in, and they might finally open up. Everton, Southampton.
That's not terrible on paper. I'm not.
It's not
totally against that.
I'm curious to see how Southampton will be without Ings. Like he has been their main scorer for the last couple of years. Like I know Che Adams kind of got in a few goals last year. They still got James Ward-Prowse. They still have like a couple guys that are like pretty solid, but I think Everton probably still going to win that one. Leicester Wolves could be interesting. We'll see what kind of Wolves we get now that they have Jimenez back. They'll have their big attacking threat back, so they should do a little bit better. Watford Villa. I think Villa's just going to smoke them. I don't think Watford's very good.
Well, Watford, every point counts, starting on day one. So
that's true.
Get whatever you can out of every single game, boys.
Norwich, Liverpool. I think Liverpool's going to destroy them. Again, I don't think Norwich is very good either. And Liverpool, again, we'll see. Like I know last year their front line had a lot of problems just putting the ball in net, and they were injured a lot last year. So we'll see what a healthy Liverpool can look like. Sunday, I know that's what you and I are looking forward to. West Ham going to Newcastle, where West Ham usually doesn't do well. That's definitely the big concern. I know we've been shitting on Arsenal the whole time, but in the back of my head, I'm like, West Ham could lose. They could easily lose. So
they could lose, and for a variety of reasons. The thing that gives me the least hope is that they were punching way above their weight last year. So, yeah, even you saw on my predictions, unrealistically high. I admit it at the time. I admit it now. But just waiting for that other shoe to drop. Like, still West Ham.
Yeah.
They have
still have
four
only made
senior
one.
goalkeepers on the team, and I think they have one actual listed striker on the team. So
Who's not actually a striker.
yeah, that's
Antonio's
what
not naturally a striker.
that's what we're
and,
living with.
and has hamstrings made out of string cheese.
Oh, they're meaty, but how long can you sustain that? I've seen this man's legs. You can't just it takes a toll running around
hamstrings. His hamstrings are just stringy hams, man. That's it. But yeah, hopefully they can come out with 3 points in the win there. Honestly, I'll take one just because again they never ever
Let's start with a
well
point.
Newcastle.
Let's start with a point.
I will take a tie in that one. Then Spurs Man City could be the last time Harry Kane plays.
This would be like the
Tottenham.
intrigue game of the weekend because honestly, there's three things still kind of on the table here. Like, well, I guess he probably wouldn't be there immediately playing for Man City. So, two things on the table. Harry Kane plays for Spurs in his last game, or he's just not there because impending transfer to Man City. But or he's there knowing that he's going to go to Man City, just sitting in the stands. Like, this can be awkward for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing. I mean, if he plays, you got to wonder, like, okay, is he just going to half-ass it, or is he going to, like, try to beat Man City, being like, hey, look, now you need me. You like this is what happens when you don't. Yes.
Every goal, hit him with the hand thing means the money.
The hand, it means money. So yeah, that one's definitely an intriguing game. Probably the most intriguing. Just again, like you said, not only the on the field stuff, but the off the field transfer market dealings there. So that's probably the most intriguing game of the week.
Just from the like mystery standpoint of like, is he going to be there? The most, well, I mean, at least from a goal scoring record, like the highest profile player in the league currently.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that you don't know if he's going to play, is he going to even be there? Is he going to be watching in the state? Like, that makes it a little more interesting. But
and look, if he's not playing, Tottenham's screwed. Like Son's a good player, but I feel like he's a player that yes. Like he's a good player, but I feel like he needs Kane on the field to be like that really good player. Without Kane, he's just a good player. So,
and them two together really has a good dynamic because even if like Kane is there and Son is gone, like it still kind of screws up the chemistry a little bit.
So yeah, I'll be curious to see that. And Man City without Aguero for the first time in how long? Like
Aguero,
yeah, in over a decade. So that'll be even though I know he was coming off the bench a lot this last season, but still, just not seeing there will be weird.
On the topic of Spurs, I just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was hilarious. And actually, this is the Europa Conference League.
Yes.
So yes, is a thing now. I mean, it's
a real thing.
Nations League, but what is? Really, nothing else compares. No. But the team that they are playing out of Portugal, Pacos de Ferreira, and Tyler pointed out to me that apparently they're kind of like the, I guess I would say like Marlins or even the Rockies, like in Major League Baseball, as far as like, all right, the team is whatever, but their social media is always bringing the heat. They posted this today, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious, and I'm hoping they won't sue us out of anyone. They're not the PGA, so I don't think they're lawyered up like that. But just take a look at what they posted here for their fans trying to get the promotion going for this game.
Vai jogar com o Chelsea. Estás tolo, pá. O Chelsea está na Champions. Pá. Então é o Arsenal, meu. Incrível. Não sejas espato, pá. O Arsenal nem se apuraram para a Europa. Então aposto que vai ser aqueles das bolinhas. West Ham? Não, esses jogam mesmo a Liga Europa. Ui, mas se o Fulham desceu, só se for o Crystal Palace. E estes, pá. Estes ganhamos fácil.
That's got to sting. And
That's so good.
by far, even as entertaining as the video was the comment from extremely butthurt Tottenham fans that were not understanding the joke. In fact, one of the higher ranked comments that I saw in the thread was from someone that was not a Tottenham fan that was just like, the fact that you guys are so mad about this just lets me further know that you are not a big team. That you're taking this so personally. Like, you should just laugh at it, not even talk about it, whatever. Like, okay, like, you're probably going to beat the crap out of this team. The fact that you're letting it bother you this much, again, just points to how is it really to be a Tottenham fan? It's probably not great.
Yeah, that was like I just started laughing. Like, it was like the low quality of it like was perfect that it's for the Europa Conference League. Like, the quality matches up with the tournament.
Yes.
And then just like those guys just having fun. Like I'm sure if you ask any fan of that a team that finished 5th in the Primera Liga, they will probably tell you like, oh yeah, like we're probably gonna lose like 4-0, like both games.
Doesn't mean you can't jab them before the game goes off.
Yeah,
like,
just have some fun with it, man. Yeah, like I thought it was great.
They may lose the war, but they won the first salvo. Goes firmly to them.
They're already in your head. No, it was a vastly different reaction from Twitter, where all the Spurs fans were just like angry about this, and then on Reddit, where all the Spurs fans were like, actually, this is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I saw a couple people on Twitter that were Spurs fans. Like, I don't know how you don't think this is funny. Like, what is wrong with this? Like, if you're really taking this that hard, then wow. Like I just showed this to my whole family. We're all Spurs fans.
Yeah, it's also the Europa Conference League. Like, you shouldn't be taking this seriously.
Yeah, you should not even overreact at all about that.
You should be like, oh, wait, we're in a tournament? Like, oh, okay, all right, cool. But it was also nice seeing the line, oh, the team with bubbles? Oh, no, they're in the actual Europa tournament. I love that.
Bet your ass. And another little shot at Arsenal. No, they're not even playing in Europe. Hey,
yes.
Couldn't even get in the Conference League. Man, that's wow.
Yes. So shout out to Paco de Ferreira. Definitely made a fan out of us. I like, absolutely. I'm like, okay, that is, in a team that is basically a 3-team league, you have just made you just swayed me.
You got to stand out somehow. Like I said,
fuck Benfica, fuck Porto, fuck Sporting. Paco de Ferreira. That's my guys.
That's the squad. In fact, DHgate, if you got a jersey, I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, Justin seems to be, aggravated by it. If you want to come on, defend your boys. I mean, got an open line here whenever you want. But the other thing I wanted to bring up from the soccer realm, which I just thought was really they should probably just do this for every sport, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's a great idea, just to see where the temperature of fans are at. And the Athletic, the UK version, did the Hope-O-Meter through a survey of fans of all 20 teams. And there is a lot to unpack here. First of all, Arsenal at 17. Okay, well, at least they're realistic. The dread of being an Arsenal fan. I get it. Justin's boys, Tottenham, they don't seem overly optimistic, sitting at 12. West Ham.
Rightly so. I'd say that's about right.
But the other couple things, like, first of all, like Brentford, nothing to lose, all hope, all heart.
First time in the Premier League ever. Like, you gotta love that.
You can't just walk into it being like, oh, we're never going to win a game. So, of course, I mean, so many positive waves. We can't lose. They come out and beat the brakes off of Arsenal on the first day. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. The other thing that was staggering, Man City at 9. Like, what do you even want anymore? Like, how greedy can you get, guys? Like, are you trying to take over a small country, or what's the problem here? Like, you're the richest, best team in the league by far.
They haven't won Champions League. I think that's just it. That's all there is to it. Is they're like, look, this is their only goal, and they haven't gotten it yet. So I guess that's why they are not 100% happy.
Shout out to Go Leeds at 8 also. All gas, no brakes Leeds. And their fans reflect that.
They did a similar thing to this last year, and West Ham was like dead last, which, granted, look, last year going into the season, completely
Yeah.
understandable. West Ham had no hope. In fact, look, I guess West Ham fans are just happy that they're in Europe. So, like, yeah, definitely, be happy about that. Be where you're at. Just kind of maybe temper the expectations for how you'll finish.
What's going on with Everton also? Like, I mean, I doubt that they're – yes, all right, I get it. You guys hate Liverpool. Liverpool's way better than you. But
true.
You're not going to get relegated. Like, why? How are you the least optimistic team in the league? Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I know, like, for a while they were kind of like, top 4, top 5 contenders, but that was also like a decade ago. They kind of haven't really been that. They've been like, I don't know, top half all the time since then. So yeah, I mean, maybe they're just kind of tired of being, just an okay team. They want a little. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it could have been a statement like, we should be better. Like, I'm sick of this, blah, blah, blah. But that was surprising to me as well, that they came in last in the optimism scale. Nobody's expecting you to win the league, but again, like, you could go anywhere from, like, 8th to, 13, 14, somewhere in there, but you'll be safe.
Look, our guy Raj Bennett. He is a well-known Everton fan. He is one of the happiest-go-luckiest people in the world, but he also has 0 expectations for Everton every year. So maybe that's just it. Everton just don't have expectations.
Well, look, we saw it in the Euros. There's always that element of the classic English dread. For the Ted Lasso fans, like, it's the hope. It's the hope that kills you. So I don't get it because America's great, and I always look on the bright side. But just knowing that is a thing, all right, I get it, I guess. But still, coming in last, bro? Dang.
Speaking of Ted Lasso, man, the newest episode was like seriously the most optimistic, happy, joyous episode ever, and it brings me dread for the rest of the season. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna go bad, isn't it? It's gonna
probably something negative's gonna happen.
Yes, Justin knows Led Tasso, yes.
Led Tassa. Hey, Sometimes you got to flip that switch. He knows. Everton angst. That's why I'm a supporter. It's the dread. Dread just comes creeping in.
That actually makes a lot of sense for the Baron. I completely get that.
And again, actually, great point by Justin. I don't know what Crystal Palace fans are smoking or whatever, but hey, you know what? At a certain point, if you're that optimistic, I'm not even going to bash it. Like, I mean, this is wildly unrealistic. Go on. Like, hey, believe.
Yeah, new manager, Wilfred Zaha. They got Eze. Sure. Yeah, be optimistic.
Even though Tyler had them being relegated. So, Crystal Palace fans, direct your...
and I stand by it.
Direct your emails at Tyler at gmail.com. Because I'm sure that's his actual email.
That's it. How dare you dox me? How dare you?
I'm just putting it out there. Right now. Well, I didn't have too much. Obviously, Justin is not confident enough to come on and defend his Spurs. Never mind. A new challenger has entered on the Jupiter Records and Tapes Celebrity Hotline, bringing into the program Cowboys Insider, Lions Insider, and Tottenham Hotspur Insider. No ID Justin to the program. How are you doing? I'm sorry if what I said offended you. I can only be honest.
You can't offend me, man. We're the cockerel of the walkerel. I'm battling background noise and other things out of my control, so bear with me. But the Crystal Palace thing jumped out to me the most out of the.
That's a little,
but all right, guys, pump the. I'm all for being optimistic about your team, but as a Cowboys fan too, I'm speaking from experience from our own fan base. There's been seasons where I'm just come on, guys, really? This is what we're thinking? Super Bowl? With this team? Super Bowl? Really?
Well, there is a little in this list, though. You could see the teams that pretty much across the board were oh, man, it's going to be tough for them. They might get knocked out. But I think maybe the people voting in this were we got nothing to lose. Like, what is the pressure? Like, just might as well be optimistic. So Brentford's up there, Leeds. Like, all right, they'll probably stay in the league, but definitely not in 8th. Brighton, like, how's Brighton 11th? Brighton's gonna be fighting for their damn lives.
Yeah, I mean, some fans are just overly optimistic, you know? I mean, you know, too. Like, you're a Raiders fan, dude. You know.
Yeah, but I'm not one of those. Most of them are.
It's true.
And they allow me to, like, converse with them because they know I'm a Raider fan. But, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, nah, dude, you're delusional. There's no possible way. Like, it's not going to be good for us. We just got to take what we can get and get some scalps out here, maybe beat the Chiefs once, and, you know, lick our wounds, move on to the next season, have a good draft, which we never do.
Well, I mean, I will say this, as a Cowboys fan, watching Garrett Gilbert, if Dak can't stay upright and healthy for the entire season, we're in trouble, man, because there's zero depth at that position. So that's my early reports on this season thus far.
Is that? Oh, well, yeah, there is a preseason game going on tonight, so I'm assuming you've been watching it.
I was watching some of that. I was watching as much as the first half as I could, but yeah, it's gonna be rough sledding if Dak goes down again, or if something, you know, God forbid, let me knock on wood here, and whatever we have.
Exactly, yeah. Throw,
you know,
get some incense going. Just thoughts and prayers.
Again, I know it's only preseason, and it's been, you know, the game against the Steelers or whatever. This game was kind of whatever too. The defense does look improved. It's hard to not look improved from what they were last season, but
True.
There's a couple, like, I saw Kelvin Joseph looked a little kind of lost in coverage. Granted, he was facing ones and stuff, so but yeah, it's a long season, so, you know, everybody's got preseason games rolling through. I'm glad there's only 3 of these shits that we got to watch, so
Thank God.
Hopefully, you know, we get the regular season going, and then man, can't wait.
Can't wait.
Scott.
Can't wait.
And I have still not, you know, dove into any of the Hard Knocks yet, but I will probably end up watching the entire thing. But I did like the initial PMS breakdown, especially with Money just really going hard on the Zeke giving Dak the bag, and then he just, like, points out, like, hey, we're twins now. He's like, oh, you got one? Like, oh, how disappointed was he that he had one also?
He was. Really, I was a huge fan of the amount of salt that Jerry Jones was applying to his sausage biscuit breakfast sandwich from McDonald's. So many takeaways from that, you know, again, that they've already all been touched on, but yeah, the fact that Jerry Jones still goes to McDonald's, the fact that, you know, like, he's already, like, what a veteran, by the way, to have the salt shaker at the ready. I mean, this isn't a man that goes to McDonald's and says, give me those tiny ass little two tubed fucking salt packets.
Oh no, he's bringing his own stuff.
Oh man, but he was going ham on that thing. Like, it was a lot.
We got to keep that face tight. I mean,
yeah.
And a lot of that is probably, you know, yes, whatever, maybe plastic surgery things, but dehydration, obviously. You just got to stay, like, taut.
He's just getting salty, man. He wants that Super Bowl. He's salty as fuck, dude. Like, he wants that.
Wants that glory hole.
He does, and I respect that. Like I said, becoming a Raider fan gave me a newfound respect for Jerry Jones and being insane. The single entity owner that can just do whatever they want. At some point, that they can just call the sideline and be like, we gonna give it to Zeke on the next play, right? Okay. Like, if you have that kind of power.
I am jealous in ways that you two both are fans of teams with owners that care too much, as opposed to my team, whose owner
it's good
hates
and bad.
the fact,
It's good and bad.
Just hates his team entirely. So.
It cuts both ways, but yes, I am getting ready. I just got word yesterday that punk-ass Tony Gwynn Jr.'s league is resuming this $100 buy-in, but I'm coming back to reclaim my spot, and I will be involved
Reclaim your rightful spot among kings.
That's right.
There can be only one.
I wish I could be sweating as much as Michael Irvin was, but
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No,
that's true.
wants
I
that.
don't. No, nobody wants that. Yeah.
Put on one of those suits, and I guarantee you will sweat that much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we got you here, Justin. I hope it does work out for your boys, Tottenham, and to a lesser extent, the Cowboys. I mean, it's not really personally affecting me as a Raider fan. So,
Well, then what do you mean to a lesser extent? What kind of bullshit is that?
all right, never mind. I don't even mean that to a lesser extent. To an equal extent. I'll
Dude,
walk
I'm
that
just
back.
saying, hey, just how like they're always like, the league, the NBA is better when the Knicks and the Lakers are good, or whatever the saying is. You cannot sit there with a straight face and tell me the league isn't better if Jerry Jones' team is winning like a MFer. I mean, the press conferences every week. I mean, this is a man that literally
The radio show.
literally said Brandon Whedon's deep ball is a thing of beauty. That's what that guy said. Those words came out of his mouth. So
I don't know. In some ways, it's better when Dallas isn't doing good because then his interviews are kind of even crazier. But I get what you're saying.
we need it. I'm getting burnt out on the crazy interviews. You know what I mean? Like,
You know what,
it's always
actually,
the same
though,
repeat stuff. So.
Both of you make a great point because as far as like the league interest or the hot take or the Sports Center type shows, like it's basically become a hot take show. Really, it's better for everyone if the Cowboys are really good or really bad. Like if the Cowboys are mediocre, then
That's
it's like,
true.
what are we going to talk about? Like, yeah, Dak's having a good year. Like, we just got to work on this and that. But it's like, okay, well, like, oh, well, if Dak got hurt, he was on pace for like historic, blah blah blah, or like, what is wrong with the Cowboys? Like,
I'm
if
very
it's
disappointed. Very disappointed to hear him come out and say he hopes he doesn't throw for 6,000 yards this season because that would mean that they're not balanced and they're probably losing games. It's like, no, bro, be selfish. Come on, man. go for 6K, man. Easy. You had two.
Yeah, all they need to do is be down by 35 at halftime every game, and then he can get that 6,000 yards.
Yeah, that's probably why he's so upset because he knows that he missed out on that opportunity with that shit ball sack licking defense that they put on the field last year. He's like, dude, I could have probably hit 7,000. I mean,
I would have been slanging it. Yeah, like 80 attempts per game.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just now it's what could have been. So
Well, we will get back with you guys. Like I said, I'm thinking Wednesday. So I don't know, Justin, if that works for your schedule, or we can coordinate maybe Monday or Wednesday with our NFL picks.
yeah.
So we'll coordinate what works best for all three of us. But
And speaking of coordinating, Lamar Odom, get at us.
The
Right
gauntlet
here.
has been thrown down.
he's not hiding. Lamar Odom, every single show I email this fool's people,
No response.
no response. He doesn't want to come on here. He doesn't want to deal with it. I mean, if you're scared, say you're scared.
He doesn't want to smoke.
That has become plainly obvious at this point. So shameful on the part of Lamar
Crack
Odom.
smoke. We don't want this smoke.
But if we get like maybe daily involved, other like movers and shakers in the promotion world.
I knew that was
Like
going
my
to
other
happen.
camera was going
There we
out.
go. There we go. That was
But I
smooth.
could
You
not
had
be
that quick.
stopped.
You had that quick. That was good.
Lamar Odom sending his henchmen.
Maybe that's what this is.
These people try to shut me down, but I will not be silenced. Lamar, be a man. Be a man and come on this program and own it.
We will be back here on Monday, recap of the weekend's activities. Hopefully, we get a response from Lamar. We will continue efforting that, reaching out to his people. But yeah, looks like they're just trying to shadow ban us. I don't know, but
Shameful.
we'll be back
It
here.
really is.
Justin, thank you very much for jumping on and defending your beloved Hotspur. We'll be back here on Monday, recap the weekend. You guys know the drill. We love you. Keep the fire.
Come on, you Iron.